There are stories that settle in the back of your mind, ones that follow you long after the lights go out, unanswered, unsolved, and waiting in the shadows. Some vanish without a trace, while others leave behind whispers of the truth, fragments of a mystery we may never fully understand. Tonight, we step into the unknown, into a tale passed down for generations, a story that invites more questions than answers. So get comfortable, settle in, and let's begin. Welcome to the Dead Fox Stories. Tonight, we travel to the early 1800s, to a quiet farm in the rural hills of Tennessee, where a family's peaceful life was slowly consumed by fear. This is the haunting of the Bell family and the legend of the Bell Witch. In 1804, John Bell moved his wife Lucy and their children to a stretch of fertile farmland in Robertson County, Tennessee. They built a home by the Red River, a barn, they planted corn, raised animals, and lived a peaceful, God-fearing life. John was well respected. Lucy was gentle and beloved. They raised a large family, including sons Jesse and John Jr. and their youngest child Betsy. For years, life was uneventful until the fall of 1817. John Bell was walking the edge of his cornfield at dusk when something strange caught his eye. A creature stood between two tree trunks, its body like a dog, but its head was stretched, distorted. Its eyes were far too human. It stared, silent, still. John raised his rifle and fired. The shot echoed, but the thing vanished. No cry, no blood, no tracks, just the wind in the corn and an uneasy silence that followed him home. That night, the noises began. At first they were faint, a tapping sound on the wall behind the fireplace. The family thought it might be rats or the house settling. Then came scratching beneath the floorboards, inside the walls, knocking, slow and deliberate, always 3 knocks, then silence, then 3 again. Betsy began waking in the middle of the night, crying that someone or something had pulled her covers away. Lucy started hearing soft humming, sometimes lullabies, sometimes unfamiliar prayers. John Jr. knocked on the wall one night, half joking. The wall knocked back. The family searched the home top to bottom. They found nothing, but the sounds kept coming, and soon the voice came with them. At first it was faint, a woman's whisper repeating the family's names. Then it began to speak full sentences, clear and angry.
I am spirit,
it said.
I was once happy, but I have been disturbed.
It seemed to know their thoughts. It repeated prayers before they were spoken. It mocked their conversations. One night, as they said grace at dinner, their plates rattled and the spirit hissed.
Your God cannot save you.
When they tried to ignore her, she grew louder. Objects began flying across rooms. Candles blew out without wind. Furniture scraped across the floor when no one touched it. The youngest daughter, Betsy, became the focus of the spirit's rage. At first, it whispered her name gently, then cruelly. Cold hands brushed her skin at night. Her hair was pulled, her arms bruised. She was slapped so hard in her sleep, she awoke with a swollen cheek. She cried, begged it to stop, but the witch only laughed. Sometimes it sang to her, a broken, chilling lullaby. One night, Betsy woke choking. Invisible hands were around her neck. Lucy ran in and found her gasping on the floor. The voice whispered,
You are mine.
Word spread quickly. Neighbors came to pray. They heard the voice. They saw the things move. Some were pushed, others slapped. One man fainted when the spirit repeated private sin from his childhood. Ministers came from other towns. They tried to bless the home, recite scripture, sing hymns. The witch mocked them, recited scripture backward, laughed at their prayers, sang louder than their hymns. No one stayed more than a night. No one could help, and the family was left alone. John Bell Jr. tried to reason with the witch. He asked what it wanted, why it tormented them. Sometimes she answered. Most times, she only asked more questions.
You will know in time.
She said.
The blood is not yet paid.
She visited him in dreams, dreams of war, of cities he didn't know, of men who hadn't been born yet. He never spoke of everything she had told him, but after those dreams, he never looked at the house the same way again. As Betsy grew older, she met a young man named Joshua Gardner, kind, respectful, someone who made her feel safe. They planned to marry, but the witch forbade it. Whenever they were together, the witch attacked. Betsy was scratched and slapped. Joshua heard threats whispered in his ear, promises of death. One night, as they walked near the river, the trees trembled around them. A scream echoed across the water.
He is not yours. He never will be.
Heartbroken and terrified, Betsy ended the engagement. The witch fell silent for days, almost like satisfaction. By the end of 1820, John Bell began to fall ill. His speech slurred, his hands trembled. He suffered violent seizures. No doctor could explain it. One morning, Lucy found him unconscious. Beside him, a strange black vial. Thick, sour-smelling. As she lifted it, the witch's voice rang out.
I gave him the poison.
John Bell died later that day, and for the first time, the spirit laughed openly, unashamed. They buried John in silence. The town grieved, and the witch disappeared. But not for long. In 1828, the spirit returned briefly to John Jr. She spoke to him in a dream, calm, cold. She told him things, secrets about time, about death, about the future. She warned of distant wars. Then she made a promise.
I will return in 107 years.
And once again, she vanished. That date was 1935. No one knows exactly what happened, but those who live in Adams, Tennessee said the air felt different. A child awoke with scratches on his arms. A woman said she heard her name called from the woods. Footsteps followed people through the dark. No one saw her, but they say she came back. Some believe she never left. The Bell Witch is more than a ghost story. She is a whisper in the dark, a breath on your neck, a shadow just beyond the door. The Bell family is gone. The house is gone. But her voice, it still lingers. And if you find yourself near the Red River and something calls your name from the trees, don't answer. Thank you for joining me tonight. If your eyes haven't closed just yet, you're welcome to drift into another tale. Until next time, sleep well and remember, some spirits don't stay buried.